Salutations, boys and girls, and kiddos of all ages. Welcome to another video of Posing Action Figures with Toy the Poser. I am your host, Toy the Poser. And to all first timers seeing me, I would like to say I do humbly thank you for joining us. And I also hope you enjoyed the show. But just a fair warning to let you know that this is not your average review channel for reviewing action figures and toys. Just a little showcasing of things I like to collect. All right, and with that being said, behind the camera, I go into giant mode so we can get this thing rolling. Whoop, poop. And okay, let's give a little camera adjustment. And we're going to talk about the action figure at hand here, which is Marvel's CRYSTAR. And I don't know a whole lot about CRYSTAR, so according to the back of the package, if you guys can read it, it says CRYSTAR, Prince of Crystallium, leads an elite team of crystal warriors against the threat of chaos. And those, behind the package descriptions are very vague, as they should be. But this is also the continuance of the Void Build-A-Figure wave that I'm doing. So yeah, we reviewed her, which I left out an entire lot about her, but yeah. And now I don't need him, and because he doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece, yeah, the rest of these guys are on the way. So the next one is CRYSTAR. All right, from last year's wave of 2024. Okay, so the last year you got CRYSTAR on the back, CRYSTAR on the side of each. For those that like to see the bottom of the package, here, hold on for a second. Let me remove this for you guys. Whoop. Oh, sorry, I tried. And it started tearing. But the reason you can't see the bottom of that is because I didn't get it from my normal locations that I usually get stuff. I think I got it from like Amazon or something. So that's why I think this barcode is like that. So I don't know. But once again, like I said, I don't know why you guys like seeing the bottom of the package anyway. I would just hope that didn't mess anything up for you. But this is the top. So, yeah, magical poof, and let's get CRYSTAR out of there. All right, so magical poof, and CRYSTAR's out of the pack, as you can see. And you probably can't see him well, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But he comes with two alternate hands. Sorry, let me move my way. Two alternate hands, shield, sword. All right, those are accessories, and another. Yes. Let's just. Okay, yeah, get over there. If he can stand, he probably can't stand like that. All right, and two Void Build-A-Figure pieces. Like I said, we'll get to that crap later. So vanish mode. All right, and get magical poof CRYSTAR out of this package. Magical poof. All right, and the only thing I can say right now. Oh, he stood straight up out of that. Okay, but only thing I can say right now about this guy is I hope you guys can see him well enough, because he's made out of clear plastic. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about, wow, look at that split, as Robo from Robo Don't Know would say. Better than most Spider-Mans. All right. So That's cool. Of course, no boot cut. Peg holes. Neat. But as I was saying, I'm gonna and he I mean with his fist and an open hand, palm hand. So yeah, we're gonna. Yeesh. Yeah, of course, he just came out of the package, so he's gonna be kind of tough to pose. So I'm gonna put him in a cold pose in a minute. I'm gonna switch out his hands because his hands are, of course, weapon holding hands. You know, because he has two clear crystal weapons, I guess. All right, so we're gonna set that down. Cold pose him and put him on our new rotating base that I finally got and see why. Yeah. What's this guy all about? To tell you the truth, I know nothing about CRYSTAR. Okay, guys. So, okay, that wasn't too bad. I was scared. Always remember to heat up your figures, guys, because they can go snap. Okay? And we don't like when they go snap because they break. Snap means they break when they're cold. Plastics is apparently brittle when it's cold. Anyway, CRYSTAR. Okay. And we're gonna learn more about CRYSTAR as we go. Okay. So I will, cold pose him right now. And there we go. All right. And we're gonna give him a 360 twirl here. All right. So everybody can see him without my hand in the way. Okay. So yeah. And as I was saying, as a speaker, I hope he shows up well on the camera. Here, let's try less light. See what happens. Is that cool? All right. Is it? How about less light? How about that? Is that any better? Okay. I truthfully don't know how you guys feel about it, but I yeah. Let's give it a whirl. Okay. No pun intended. So yeah, I know nothing about CRYSTAR, so let's pause him for a second. Oh, sorry. All right, and see if we can look up some good information about him. Okay, for a little comic book history, the CRYSTAR was started off in the comic. The Sage of CRYSTAR, Crystal Warrior, was a 11-issue fantasy-based comic published back in 1983. It was associated with a toy line from Remco. When it first came out, it was only 7 figures, and sometimes they had vehicles or whatever riding companions, and of course accessories that came with it. But yeah. So basically, this is what the first CRYSTAR action figure looked like back in 1983, 85. All right, so not too different. Don't know what that little thingy do here is, but he still has his sword and shield and his red and blues, and it apparently looked like he was still in that clear plastic. All right, so let's move on. Now, CRYSTAR is of course, Marvel character. But he's also in the world of Marvel Earth 616, the main Marvel universe. CRYSTAR was the son of the human king, no name given, of the planet Crystolium, often visited by other heroes from Earth 616. Crystolium is amongst the alternate magical realities that ended up becoming a planet of the floating island Weird World, which is also known as Battle World, but let's not get into all of that. CRYSTAR also has a brother named Moltar, often known as Prince Moltar. And when they were younger, their father had a war between himself and the demon Chaos. Their father died in that battle, but the wizard here, Ogiodi, stepped up and pushed back Chaos. I guess holding him back. Now, while Chaos was retreating, he did promise to return one day. In the meantime, CRYSTAR and his brother Moltar here decide to, of course, run the kingdom themselves as joint kings. And they were doing quite well until one day they was visited by the wizard Ogiodi and Zardeth, the Wizard of Chaos. Zardeth offered the two kings an alliance between he against Ogiod, but he offered basically power. He offered them power and more power, I guess, than what they have if they joined him. But if they refuse, pain and suffering. Okay. Moltar and his brother CRYSTAR apparently were divided on this decision of which wizard they would join, Zardeth or Ogiod, the one that actually helped them. But Moltar believed that Zardeth's offer was the best for he and all his people. Their people. They're both crystal warriors from Crystolium. And of course, this led into a big fight between the two brothers, and that eventually ended up seriously wounding CRYSTAR. And in that battle, with CRYSTAR heavily injured, Moltar basically announced himself the king of Crystolium. So the wizard Ogiod decided, magically healed CRYSTAR back to good health while his brother Moltar was out there publicly announcing to the entire Crystolium people that he was the new king. And in the healing process, of course, Ogiod turned CRYSTAR into a crystal warrior. All right, and I guess that's what he looked like. And Ogiod also cast a spell on his CRYSTAR's brother Moltar and his allies, such as Lavor, who both fled back to the Wizard of Chaos, Zardeth, who transferred them both into magma men, or women. And with the help of CRYSTAR's loyal friend Warbo, CRYSTAR came out victorious, forcing his brother to retreat. His brother and the magma men. And women. Magma women, too. Oh, speaking of women, I guess I should have mentioned Ambria, but that actually helped CRYSTAR while he was injured in his fight against his brother, and she brought him to the wizard Ogiod, but she's not really important, so let's move on. Anyway, so after all those events happened, of course, the story of CRYSTAR continues from there. So that's pretty much it. All right, so let's talk powers and attributes here. And as you can see, intelligence, strength, speed, durability, energy projectile, and fighting skills, which basically means CRYSTAR's crystal body. It's, of course, entirely made of crystal, which gives him several superhuman abilities like superhuman strength. And I don't know why I thought it would be funny to put a dumbbell in his hand to show off superhuman strength, but yeah. I just so happen to have a dumbbell. Okay, so superhuman strength. Durability. I don't know of a good idea to show off durability or even how durable he is, to be honest with you. But as I said before, with durability and stuff like healing factor, I think pretty much all enhanced superheroes or superheroes period in comic that's just not basic humans all have that. So durability, superhuman durability. And self-sustenance, which basically means, if you don't know, because I didn't, the word meant, yeah, CRYSTAR no longer needs to eat, sleep, or breathe air. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, does that make him immune to diseases and stuff? I don't know, but he doesn't need to eat or sleep or breathe air. So he's perfectly fine in outer space. I guess that's the best way to put it. He can survive in outer space. So, because I think that's where like most of his planet and adventures take place, in outer space. And of course, since his sword and shield are basically made out of crystal, pure crystal or whatever, CRYSTAR is actually an excellent swordsman too. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much his superpowers and, abilities. Once again, I don't know if this light is helping or hurting. Okay, but let's try this light. Let's see what happens. Oh, that does jack diddly squat. Okay. But there you have it, everybody. Okay, so let's put a stop to this. Whoop, 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 whoop. And of course, yes, with me standing at 5.5 inches and Stan the man, my main man Stan over there to your right, our left, he's an average 6-inch figure, so making us both in a 1/12 scale, which basically means CRYSTAR is standing at a little over 6.25 inches. All right, so whoop, 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 and there you have it. All right, so thanks for stopping by. And now it's time to end this video and continue on to the next video. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye for now.